Everyone, welcome to Ashish Unique Mindset. So in this video, I'll be talking about a concept of subject and object, which has been widely known over the years by philosophers. But I definition of subjectivity is anything that I do for myself. So in a broader sense, whatever other objectives I do in life is also I'm doing it for myself. So in my view, subjectivity is a broader term. Whilst objectivity is a specific problem or a specific role or a specific task that we do objectively. So that is called an objective. So that can also be broadly categorized into a set of purposes or set of objectives or a set of quality of work that we want to aspire for. Okay. So this is broadly subjectivity and objectivity in life. So I used to feel that a lot when I was as I referred in my previous video, that I was transcending from one phase of my life to the other. I strongly felt that subjectivity and objectivity are at loggerheads and it cannot coexist. But recently I have found out that they can, and we must pay respect to each to get the best of both worlds. Our personal where we do not want to speak to anyone and just be engrossed in what we are doing and give time to ourselves. It can be self-care, it can be any hobby, working out. So all those time of the day when we are solely dedicating to ourselves is our subjective world, the actual subjective world. Although it can mean a whole lot of things that are entirely different, and it has a very broad meaning. I'm just saying to give some perspective and some context to reality. So in contrast to this subjective reality is objective reality. So in the objective world, we have certain roles and responsibilities which we ought to fulfill. Though subjectivity is closely aligned to the roles that we fulfill, these roles are often designed in such a way that these roles appear distinct and not in sync with our subjective world. So it can be the job that we do, the role as a spouse, as a son or a daughter, as a friend, as a humanitarian, as an altruist, philanthropist, as a economist, a businessman. All these are objective worlds, objective realities. Although it is subjectivity and objectivity are interlinked, but first I will try to make myself clear that how they are distinct and how they can be together. What is my understanding and narrative of how they can interoperate and coexist together. So friends, for people, their objective realities are so purposeful and meaningful that they give them a purpose that is beyond their subjective realities. So their subjectivity is so much aligned to their objective world that they do not need to treat it as separate entities. But for most people, they have to maintain a subjective side to themselves and bring that subjective side consciously into their objective realities to become a better person in which can help both the worlds, their own world and the world that they are working for. Friends, how can we make the subjective worlds and objective worlds coexist together? So one good example is consciously taking breaks in the work that we do, like not huge breaks but small conscious breaks to have, so that we do not sit in the same position for too long. Because in the work that we do, sometimes a problem is not solved 9 times out of the 10 times that we have tried that, and invariably it involves a lot of frustration and pain also sometimes, that because our conscious mind knows that we are sitting at one position. We must consciously break the pattern. This element of consciousness within the objective world can really benefit the objectives that we are working for. So this can be grabbing a bottle of water while you are doing work instead of going for your phone. So phone is a much more distracted version of uh, entering into your subjective world. Maybe you are seeing the content that is aligned to you, but it's still a lot more stimulating than what a glass of water will actually do in the long run. So if you manage to grab a glass of water each time, not each time, at least consciously 5 times out of the 10 times you have felt the urge to get distracted or take a break from the chore or job that you have undertaken. So it will bring a lot more quality into the work, and also it will not allow the subjective self and the objective self to be at a distance. It will not create the disparity of having a separate work and a separate life together. You know, it is not a distinct work and life are not distinct elements to be sought balance in. They are one aspect. Work is an aspect of life. So if we incorporate activities that are blended with life, not overstimulated, we can actually blend the subjective reality into the objective reality. And while the our realm of subjectivity, which is very personal, into the objective realm, we will bring a very crucial aspect of emotional intelligence, a high emotional quotient that will be integrated to the objective reality. And if every individual is speaking in the terms which is unique to their subjectivity and bringing forth their subjectivity to the other person, not in a way that it is being put, but in a way that is subtle, in a way that is integrated to what actually the person is. So it will bring a lot more balance and a lot more calmness to the objectives, and there won't be a divide between the objective and the subject. There won't be that divide. So, and when that person will go into this subjective world, is alone time, be he will work much more relentlessly at himself, because he will know that he has to train, he has to make the best utilization of this time, so that when he enters the objective world, he has new things to offer to the world, and so does the other 5 or 10 people that he has told these things about. So just imagine, friends, what the circle will be like. Everybody will be so much more open. The conversations that will happen will be so much more deep rather than being superficial. Everybody will be so much vulnerable. Everybody will be open to ideas. Everybody will know the other person's pain or joys and personality traits rather than being judgmental. If we manage to embrace on such a journey, if just imagine what the quality of life will be, both in terms of and invariably, friends, this happens. It is not that it does not happen. It is not that I'm talking from some other planet. I have seen it happen, and it does happen. It is just that we do not do it consciously. We do not do it consciously. That is why it gets beneath the rug. Sometimes we are not doing consciously, so we are not deliberate enough in our efforts, so we are not consistent in our efforts. So it output is always determined by more of the subjective, how the subject is bringing value into the objective realm. I feel so strongly. So, and it happens, and that is how bigger objectives get created, that different kinds of subjects interact with their entire feelings, not hiding anything, not pretending to be something they are not, no imposter syndrome. So they are bringing their whole self, their true self, without being judged, without having to clutch to any identity or having to boast of through their egos that we are something beyond. We don't have to justify themselves as commodities. They don't have to deliberately do something, because their work ethics will show what they are actually, not what people expect them to be. So the expectations would be much more stabilized. It will be much more manageable. It will not be determined by some entity which is completely out of our realms and into the abstract world. It will be much more into the human realms of understanding. So I believe that this fundamental is very crucial. It's a very fundamental thing that I'm speaking of. It is not at all a thing that is alien. It has been happening, and it has uh, occurred and happened so many times. It happens every time, in fact. It is just that we do not do it consciously. So this will bring a lot of emotional high emotional EQ into the whole picture. And if IQ is already there. IQ, there are all, it's already there in abundance, because I feel that since IQ is closely related to the economy, it is much more, people are more conscious about IQ, and they bring the IQ into the forefront. But it's not entirely true. EQ can also be equally, if not more, valuable to every aspect of life, including the economic aspect. So blend of, just imagine if the IQ is high because of some objective. Just imagine if EQ is also aligned, which is a subjective term, which is abstract, which cannot be quantifiable. Just because it cannot be quantifiable and does not have the numbers, and there is a bit of empirical evidence to it, not a quantitative evidence, doesn't mean that it is not tangible. It is, of course, it is intangible, but that is what feelings are. They are intangible abstractions, and if we do not entertain these kind of abstractions, then it will be a very monotonous world, friends. It will be devoid of any kind of subjectivity at all, because then objectives will be determined by uh, forces that are outside the subjective realm. So ideally, I really want the world to be much more aligned with every person should be able to come up and speak uh, truly. If everybody, just imagine if everyone is true to the objective, how wonderful the objective will actually be. How easy life would be actually. That was the motive, friends. That was my a very, some few things are very close to your heart. It's not something that you speak out of just for the sake of speaking. You actually feel something from within, that yes, is this is, I felt it. I did not mean to actually seek it, but when I went out there, when I have interacted, and when I have walked the path, I have felt this gap. Can I do something? Can I talk about that gap? Not to divide people, not to point out people, not at all to say that one is correct and the other is not. No, it is to integrate. It is to speak out in a way that is much more plural. It is not something that um, that underlines what I believe for myself, that how I operate. And I will be talking a lot about other concepts also, which I have, which are there is ingenuity to it. So those are indigenous to my thinking. I feel so because I have incorporated that uh, in my lifestyle and work ethics. So some of them are not maybe contrary to popular belief, but they have turned out to be very effective in how I function. So I would like to bring forth such ideas. Stay tuned for more such content. So I will be posting some of the workout vlogs because, friends, a body is something, a part of the subjective world, which is non-negotiable. If we are to speak out of subtlety, we have to we it's very difficult not to take care of our body and just speak, um, because once our words are not supported through action, some form of actions, it becomes very difficult for the words to have the same meaning, even though they might have the meaning much deeper. But we are not justifying to ourselves that what we are talking, we are not doing any actions, any form of, it's basically, exercise is a form of mental exercise, it's not a physical exercise. So I will be bringing out my workouts, and I'll be having few of the topics which I believe in, which are, I feel, is unique to, at least unique to my understanding. And when I must bring forth how it is not unique, but humanity has a common consciousness, which Carl Jung has so profoundly called out, is a collective consciousness. But um, we must bring our own bespoke knowledge also. So this channel is all about that. It's about bringing forth this common knowledge which has been well documented by literature, but how we come across, having read some of the literature and having treaded the path of the street. Thank you for watching. Have a great life ahead and take care.